now. Just waiting on notification.
And I was like, dang, I didn't get no cool flyer and stuff. Josh
Now I'm,
usually
I'm
do
promoting the YouTube channel, so I ain't doing no flyers right now. I'm just getting everybody straight to YouTube. All right, perfect. Boom.
shit.
And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast. We have an incredible guest with us this afternoon, one who's going to give us some amazing information as well as inspiration, and that is none other than Brother Ameer Muhammad. First of all, assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam.
The first thing I want to know is what was it? Uh, but then, first of all, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come on the People's Podcast. But for those who don't know, you and I met as children, and recently we found a picture of us being in Disney World in 1990. I mean, back in the day, and it's just like, man, like we really grew up in the same, the nation, and we had very similar backgrounds. What was it like for you growing up in the nation?
Uh, it's such a broad question, man. But I was thinking about, like, I didn't know we went to Disneyland until you sent me that picture.
Yeah.
But the spot I remember is Coley's, when we went to Coley's, the Jamaican joint Eden. Uh, but man, growing up in the nation is different, because not different. It's unique because you don't realize you're growing up in something that is so influential to not only just Black people but to the world. It's because you're used to it. I'm not gonna compare it to that, but yeah, that's such a general question. I can't really pinpoint, like, man, it was like, this or that. So you gotta be more specific.
Absolutely. Well, my sister Naima sends a greetings. Walaikum salam, Naima.
Walaikum salam.
Okay, so what was it like growing up the son of a legendary captain and Shaheed and brother Shaheed, Capt Shaheed? What was it like growing up and having him as a father?
Yeah, now that's specific. Uh, man, growing up, man, like yourself, growing up, man, that's our father. So it's like I don't see him as a legend, or, man, this Captain Shaheed. I'm like, man, this dude that be on my on my side. So the experience, I remember one time, man, when you're a little dude, though, your dad is that guy, because I had went to this, what is it called? It's not circus. Those things, I think a carnival they have in the garage, at the parking lot, with the go-karts and the Ferris wheel. And I was too little to get on the bumper cars. So I told the dude, I said, I'm gonna tell my dad. And my mom was like, boy, he don't know who your daddy is. He don't care. But I just knew that he was somebody to tell that man. But, growing up now, I didn't keep that understanding of who he was when he was teaching me. But man, I was gonna say it's a lot of pressure, but I didn't feel any pressure, other than knowing that your dad is aspiring for greatness from you. And that's what I am gonna say. Growing up, he would always say, you're a god, or you could be a god, but I didn't understand it in practical, what he was really meaning when he was saying that. So he would say stuff when we'd come from a game, and he like, man, them dudes eat pork, man. You ain't supposed to. And I don't understand. I didn't understand as a child, again, what he was instilling or what he was teaching me. So the expectation of becoming the God placed on him, it just made you feel. I felt like I just never was doing the right thing or understood what he was telling me, and I didn't understand it until I bought in. And as a father now, I try to tell my children, you don't have to understand. You just got to understand that I want what's best for you, and cooperate with what it is that me and your mother are trying to do. Because whatever goal that you have, I'm giving you the blueprint to accomplish that said goal, and how I can make that make sense. And I hope I'm kind of rambling, and because that's such, I don't want to put the I don't want to answer the question and say, that was Capt Shaheed, man. He was on me. I used to have to do push-ups and cook and clean and blah, 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 because that's so far from the truth. And that's what you would expect to get from a military man. Like, he was hard on me. He was this, but what I want to illustrate is his vision and his submission to following the guidance of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, because it was times, I would go to the mosque and I hear the minister say, be nice to your children and do this, and a daddy shouldn't do this. And I get home and he be on me. And I'm like, man, the minister said, be nice, man. But I called him today on my way to the mosque and I said, man, Dad, you really didn't get me. And I'm using nice words like you could have, when you could have. Like, how did you have patience with me? And Sharif, because we were older, 15, 16, and straight disrespectful. And my son is 10, 11, and I be ready to knock his head off when he not listening. I'm like, yo, I'm telling you, same thing. And so he giggles and laughs at it. And that helps bring humility to me, because I know he showed me mercy, and as we taught, as the Bible teaches, Jesus teaches, show the same mercy that you want the Father to teach you, to show you. So now I have my biological father that showed mercy. And if I want Allah to show mercy, then I got to reciprocate that to my children. So when I call my father, that helps bring it back. But coming back to the point, as a child, I'm like, man, the minister said you're supposed to be nice to your son, pat him on the head, say good job, and you just own me. But not realizing what he's holding back, what's the greater message that he's teaching me, and him not just going, bam, knocking me out for not listening, right? So now knowing the prestige of Capt Shaheed, like non-tolerance, like this brother used to knock dudes out to come to the mosque, like, all of that, to now be disrespected by his own blood and not just end it there. Boom, it's there. But to be able to be wise enough to drop the right seeds and be patient enough to drop the right seeds, to know at a later, not even to know, to have faith in Allah that at a later time that they'll germinate and grow. So now I'm saying that to say, one day I was listening to Minister Ishmael and he was talking, he said, it's good you guys go to college and all have you playing sports and all of that, but once you gain those skills, come back and help your nation. And then it clicked to me. I said, man, my dad never used to tell me, yo, you gotta be the best basketball player. You gotta, go to the NBA. You gotta do this and that. He just used to spend hours in the gym teaching basketball, but only to give a skill for me to be able to attain a way to go to school, right? And so because I was a rebel, I didn't go to school playing basketball, but I started playing football. But it was through the mindset, right? Because it's not physically the same fundamentals jump shot, but it's the mind and the discipline to do whatever it is football wise to use on the football field that you use to play basketball, because it's a blueprint. So he instilled the blueprint for me to play football, and I've never played my life before junior college. Like, and I was embarrassed to tell. I would word is mine. I would lie, like, yeah, I played Pop Warner, a little bit, because I didn't want dudes to be like, yo, what the hell? You ain't never played. You never. I didn't want that. So I was shamed, and I was just like, I'm trying to play. Long story short, I used what he taught me, refusing to accept it. Then when I was forced to rely on what it was I had in me, it bred me to do what I was able to do with football in school, because he planted that seed through his patience and not, and not just trying to beat it in me, but drilling in the teachings and not drilling how we teach. Yo, what's your first general order? Sir, my first general order is, look, Cat, listen to it. Look at this salute. He didn't do me like that. He did me how the minister teaches us to teach each other and teach our people and to teach our children. But it just looks unorthodox, It don't look like the, hey, son, you did wrong, hey, tuck your shirt. Nah, you look sloppy. You ain't finna be going out here representing me like that, representing the messenger. Allah didn't come to, and I mean, you know, so it's unorthodox in the so I would say that's what it's like. And I might not have even answered the question, but that's what it was like growing up under my father. He just expects perfection, not he expects you to strive for perfection. He don't expect you to be perfect. So just implanting that in me, I wasn't able to see that, man, until I was one a father and I was away from home. You know, you were able to see what you are once you up out of that nest, man. Once you out of that nest and that hedge of protection is removed from you, then you get to see who you really are, and you start looking up and seeing, man, all of my mercy is coming with my father's name attached. But then when you have to go out on your own and you build your own reputation by Allah's grace, it's only the humble of us that realize that even me building up whatever I am came from him teaching me what it is that I am today. So that I don't really think I answered that good, man. I just started rambling.
No, you did. You answered it perfectly, sir. Our brother Ahmad J. Muhammad sends the greetings, and Sister Love It says beautiful, and Brother Ahmad says teach. Perfect. My next question is: we hear so much, same thing, with me, myself, and other descendants of fathers who put in work in the nation. Of when it's because it's a man, people directly look at the father. But can you give us one of your favorite lessons that your mother taught you?
Yeah. You know, the best thing I could say, man, is one lesson that my mom taught me was, man, the cooperation of the parents, regardless if they're still married or not, really has something to do with the upbringing of that child. Um, and the way when I was young, again, my dad is harsh, man, and on you, strict, as you gotta be to a young boy, man. With this world, knowing what it is for them. So one day I was like, man, I don't want to go to my dad's house. And my mom said, when you're old enough to make that decision on your own, then you make that decision. But while I have you, you're going to know your father because you have to. And so when I was 13, man, I was getting in adolescent trouble. Um, and one day I had Saturday school. Saturday school is when you get in trouble and you got to come to detention all day Saturday. It's boring. And so I was trying to get out of it. I was living with my grandma. My mom lived in New York and my dad still lived in LA. And I was living like 45 minutes from LA. So I had Saturday school. I tried to get out of it. My grandma was like, man, let's go. I was late, so I got another one. So I'm back home in the bed, lazy. Yes. My teacher called, Ameer missed. My grandma was like, yeah, I think he needs counseling and blah, blah, blah. The line, this one call waiting. And boop, it's my mama. Yes, mom, Ameer's going to live with his dad. Tell him to pack his stuff. And we like, what? Going back and forth. I'm not going. Man, I hear her. I go look at the, and I'm talking tough on the phone to my mom. I ain't going. You can't make me. Man, I peek out that blinds. I see Big Shot. I said, he's here. Oh, man, all the bass in my voice dropped. My grandma was like, go tell him you don't want to go. He said, man, get your stuff. We'll get it in the car. Right. So I go move with pops, man, straight like that. So what's the lesson here? Years later, I realized, that quote, if you love a rose, you don't pull the rose, you leave it to grow so it can maximize its potential, right?
Yes, sir.
I said, man, as a child, I said, man, how can a mom just send their child and then I'm just there and, send me with my dad and he's harsh, the meanest person in the world. I realized she used to tell my grandmother, I love you, but I'm not going to allow my son to be like my brothers. I love my brothers, but I'm not going to allow them to be that way. And I didn't understand because I love my uncles and I think they're great men. But what I didn't understand is my mom had an expectation for me as her son, right? And through my grandmother, she couldn't achieve her goal of what her expectation was for her son. And she knew that I reached the point of life, now it was my father's turn. So my parents share the story that it was a time that Jesus had to go and no longer could be raised by Mary. And a boy should, if he's no, I'm not going to say such definite, but it's beneficial that if the parents are no longer together, that the boy goes on when he enters that preteen and teenage year to live with the father, because being a man, like, when my son getting bigger, so he talked to my wife different when I'm not around. But then I walk in and he's like, it's something intrinsically. I don't know what it's called. So I think a lot that my mom had that vision, because she could have kept me and did what she did, because she was hard on me. Every day when I was in elementary, I got a whooping, but it wasn't enough. Um, so the lesson that I learned is what real love is. As the minister teaches us, unconditional love is not condition based. It's what's the greater good of that said thing that it is that you love, and understand whether the circumstance are not pleasing to the eye, but if it's for the greater good of that individual or thing, then you do that. So the best lesson that she taught me was love. And yeah, that I guess I hope I described that again, man. I could have said something like "Don't go outside at night" or "Why," but that, man, how my parents raised me, and even to know how much I didn't listen to them and strayed away, like the prodigal. As we're taught, we walk through the Bible, right? Like
Yes,
I
sir. Yes, sir.
really walked through the prodigal son. Like I can tell you about that. And my parents' support and that is what made me understand love, because to the world, man, my parents is mean, man. They like but we don't know what love is, man. Love is mean.
Mm.
So
Praise be to Allah, beautiful. My sister says, praise be to Allah. Thank everyone for watching. Please continue to like, share, subscribe to the People's Podcast. My next question for you is, you're big into martial arts and fighting, right? What got you what got you into that?
thank you for that question. What got me into that, man, is I signed up for the military, and
Mm.
it's part of the training that you train. And when I signed up for Allah's military, and man, I never thought of myself as a martial artist until I knew what the word martial means and art means in the words combined, because I just never been into karate or the Asian culture of it. But my dad is actually studied with Dr. Moses Powell. And when I was young, I used to go to the FOI classes where Professor Irvin trained the FOI, and I would mess around, but I just never. It's just like us growing up in the nation. You go to the mosque, but do you really believe in Master Farah? Like, do you know Master Farah Muhammad appeared in the person for yourself, or do you believe that because we go to the mosque? So it
Mm.
was like that with martial arts. I went to class because I was going to class with my father. Well, yeah, for the brothers. But it was when I became an active member in the military myself, when I became a believer myself. And that's the requirement of an FOI, is to train. And Grandmaster Abdul Aziz is the national trainer. So man, if he was teaching Kangaroo Jack, I would be training in Kangaroo
Mm. 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 Mm.
if he was teaching us how to swim, I would be doing that. But it just so happened that he's teaching VSK Jiu-Jitsu. So I became involved in that because, I don't view the Nation of Islam as an organization or uh, a church, something we grew up going to, Black People Baptist Episcopal Church. Like, I really am learning, because I'm not going to say I understand. I'm learning to understand what it is that we're building as a people, and there is going to be a day, whether it be 10 years, 100 years, 1,000 years, that we're going to have a military that is really having to protect our land and really that's going to be real. So all I'm doing is participating in the beginning part of something that You know, like the People's Podcast probably started with you and the brothers talking, and they like, man, Josh, you should start a pod. Like you never, and maybe one of the original people that you had the idea with never's been on the People's Podcast, but you never forgot them, and they never forgot, and they support it. They just don't have to be part of it for it to. I mean, they don't have to be on it for them to be happy and be influential for the movement. So that's how I view everything that we do right now. You know, we may not have our own territory. I don't know when we're going to have our own territory, but until then, whatever Minister Farrakhan tells us to do, I'm going to do and be a part of. And Grandmaster Abdul Aziz is the national train. Like, if Minister Farrakhan made a national pilot and everybody had to learn how to fly plane, then that's what I'm doing. So he has a national trainer, then I'm going to train. And martial arts is just one component that he trains us in. So that's why, to long story short, I started being into martial arts. And then the beauty of who he is as a person, man, that's what made me fall in love with it as well, and how he's a student of his teachers. To learn how to be a better student is what made me another, because I want to be like Farrakhan. And here go a man that's closer to being like Farrakhan to me. So I better try. Let me try to be like him to get to that one, because Farrakhan is a far goal. And even though Grandmaster is a far goal, it's a little closer than Farrakhan. So that's one footstep to. First, I gotta try to be like my dad, because that's so I got some stepping. So all of them dudes was involved in that. So I got to be involved in what my role models or my, are involved in, so that's why. And because you asked, make sure anybody watching is participating in the National Training Conference this weekend.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. Okay, excellent and great response. Sister Tanya Brown says this brother's telling the story of a lot of families. Balance is key. Sister Tanya Brown Ramo, balance is key. Understanding is key, and telling the truth is the power. Thank you for having me on your podcast. Yes, ma'am. And thank you, Sister Tanya, for watching, ma'am. Our brother Kulsum Akbar says all praises to Allah and blessings. Excellent. Thank you all. Okay, my next question is, so you're doing the martial arts, you're training, you're a family man. What was it like being around? Can you give us your favorite memory of being around the Most High Farrakhan?
Man, anytime. But I can't. The time I'm gonna say that was my favorite was when my wife got the greetings from him, and he was moving. They were moving, and they were walking, and she said, "Assalamu alaikum, brother minister," and he like boom looked at it and was like, "Wa alaikum salam," and that made her so happy. So that'll be that would be my best time, because she was happy that he looked at her and respond. And it don't, you could say the minister, man, he was talking to Minister Farrakhan, it ain't no just coincidence, it ain't no nothing. If he looked at you, he was talking to you. If it ain't no generic that and that. So I think that would be that probably would be. I'm gonna say this one time though. It is funny. It was at the National Training Conference, I think in 2016, and then we went in and we were taking pictures. And when I looked at the picture, when you shake the hand, you let go and all of that. I held his hand through the picture. I sat down, took the picture. It was the next brother's turn to shake his hand, and I still had his hand, but I didn't know why, and he didn't let go of my hand, so I didn't let go. Like, I'm not from the pool. So I think that was just a funny time, because as I look back and I look at the picture, and the brother is in the picture too, Dontre. You might know, but brother Dontre was in the picture too, and it was his turn to shake the chief hand, but I took his turn and my turn. So that probably was.
Okay, excellent. My sister Miriam says peace, family, and sister Kuzman Akbar, yes, ma'am. And student minister Shaheed from Dallas says, "Go ahead, soldiers." Dallas, and that praise be to Allah. My next question is, what was it? When did you have your aha moment, if you will, or your breakthrough that, okay, enough of the world or being busy with other things, that you was ready to come back to the nation? We all had one. I've had one. Everybody had one. What was your moment that made you be like, all right, I'm ready to fall 110 toes down back in the nation? What was it?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to make that short. One thing, man, I gotta say this. Once I came to school, I didn't recognize still that it was because of my dad. So I'm out here, I'm in my apartment. I'm like, man, I got an apartment. I'm on a real college football team. I'm getting scholarship money. I never had this much money. So my friends, my roommates come. They say, man, we about to get baptized. You should come. So I say, you know what? All right, like it's got to be a God up there. Let me learn for myself. So I get baptized, dunked in the water.
Mm,
February 28th, 2008. And I remember the day because that's the day my real baptism, like as jokingly as it is, like we know it ain't no dunk and then I'm sick. But no, my journey started. Like I didn't like I'm not even gonna say what everybody else didn't stay as focused on the path as I did to learn. So I'm going to church, man, and one day this youth pastor, he says, if you born Daniel, then you change your name to Muhammad, you going straight to hell. And so
mm,
something in me start burning, like it's bothering me. And then he start going more, and it's burning me. So I raise my hand. He said, yes, sir. I say, do you know what the word Muslim means? He says, no, I don't. I said, it means one who submits to the will of God. He said, oh, I didn't know that. So he
mm,
get to talking some more. And then it's still like, this is in my chest, bro. I'm like, raise my hand again. He said, yes, sir. I say, would you say Jesus submitted to the will of God? He said, absolutely. That was his life. He quoted the scripture. He said, I say, well, is it safe to say Jesus was a Muslim? He said, I don't know about that, man. All I know is this house is Jesus, 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 man. I
yeah.
got up and walked out. So now going home, I'm coming back to college and, I needed a ticket. So my dad take me to the airport, buy it at the gate. It's expensive, $600. And when our parents do something for us, we love you, daddy. Thank you. You're the best. So I'm giving him all of that action, right? He's like, son, thank Allah that I was able to do that. He say, when you go home, think about your most successful time when you was practicing Islam.
Mm,
And
mm,
I'm like, yeah, all right, thanks, Dad, whatever. All right, cool. So I get on the plane, and when you get on the plane and that you taking off, and that joker say, do, 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 and you get to praying and be like, oh, Allah, please, Lord, in Jesus' name, and everybody else. So as that brought my mind back to my dad's words. And so I start thinking about it, and I'm like, man, okay, I was trying to be a Muslim then, and then I got arrogant because I start being good in this world because we got the blueprint to a world that's with all in the most respectful way. The knowledge is lesser than the knowledge that we were given. So our dads can like, man, look at Minister. It's like he does it effortlessly. The things that we struggle with, he does effortlessly, but it's because he just applies the teachings. So our parents give us that, and we start dealing, and we like, yeah, Dad, they think I'm awesome, and he's awesome, and I'm awesome, and all of that. And they like, look, it's because of the teachings. It's because it's we like, yeah, that's cool now, but it's me. I'm Ameer, like, yeah. So that happened, right? And so I'm like, dang, that's when I fall off. So then I start studying Islam, and I'm gonna tell the truth. The Islam outside of the nation of Islam doesn't have the restricted laws, right? So it's a little easier to be a Muslim that practices that way, in the most respectful way to put that. You can still date and do your thing like that. So I'm at that point because I'm in college, man. I'm in fraternity. I'm like, oh, I'm doing my thing, but I'm Muslim. Uh, and so some way I start listening to the minister because we never stop. I'm gonna get a disclaimer. We never not love the minister. Never. No matter what we doing, the minister always gets the respect from us, right? So some kind of way I start watching the lectures. I'm like, all right, cool. But then I'll get on this one particular lecture, The Wrath of God. And he says, when the brothers in Mississippi got killed, and he says, he reads the number, I believe it was 48. He said 48, nah, I'm not gonna misquote him. He says, you preachers pray for Mississippi. I'm going to pray Allah bring the wrath down on Mississippi. So, you know, he gives the lecture. I'm like, wow, the minister told them, like, teach, like, yeah, you know. So I Google, bam, 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 Mississippi flood. I say, yo, that was the worst. And then my dad comes, he says, yo, we was there. Not even 2 hours later, it starts storming. We had to get out. See, he told me that when I was little, but I'm like, all right, whatever. Because I'm not bear witnessing that who controls weather. So now everybody can evangelize and say God speaks to them and stuff. No, but Farrakhan pulls God to do stuff that nobody else can do. So I seen that, boom. Then I say, the Million Man March, you know, black folks, we can't go nowhere without fighting. I say, dang, how this man cost 2 million and not no fight, no violence. I said, yo, God gotta be with him. Like, this gotta be it. Because like all the other Muslims, like they can tell you what the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and all of this saying how we pose to pray and all of this, but they not getting the results Farrakhan is getting. So if I want the results in my life, I gotta do. Then I start seeing my dad different. Like, oh, whoa, he really did come from lesser than what I thought I came from, and now he's there. Whoa, this stuff must really go. So that I guess that was my aha moment. And the real aha moment is when my wife got registered. I said, oh, let me stop playing. Now that's master. Yo, that might be the spookiness of me, but I'm like, yo, she signed up for Master Farah Muhammad. Now I can't play with that. Let me get right or get left. So them was the real aha moments, man. My wife accepting the teachings before I was ready to be a FOI, because I was like, you know, yeah, that's good. Whatever. I might incriminate myself.
Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. Well, great response, and I'm happy that you had that moment so that you could be here and your family. We're gonna get to discuss your family life and the amazing father and husband that you're striving to be. Our brother Zonda Zeke Charles from the Universal Soul Circus sends the greetings. Man, thank you, sir, for watching, and man, we yeah, we'll be happy when y'all open back up so we can come to the circus as well. And brother Danny and Muhammad says, assalamu alaikum. Yes, sir. Wonderful. My next question for you, sir, is you've been LA, outside of LA, college, now you're in Texas. Has there ever been a time when you were faced with fear? And if so, how did you overcome that fear?
Yeah, man, you know, I guess growing up, you don't really know. I think I would associate the fear with anxiety. Uh, they say butterflies or whatever it is. It's anxiety, and the way I would say I overcame it when I was younger, before I was Ameer. Now, when I was younger, growing up, then is that just not my dad. My dad again, man. You know, he's fearless. I asked him one day, you know, how he. No, I'm not gonna share that. But he told me, you know, he was just really. It was like, how did you climb 6 flights of stairs in that condition? And he kept telling himself, mind over matter, you know, and his determination that he would have in certain situations is what made me in those times apply it. Because, you know, my mama would say when I was growing up, I ain't raised no dummies. So when a academic challenge or intellectual challenge come like that, comes in the back of my head. I don't know why, because they say it so much. So my dad's the same thing. Like, he would just say stuff so much. And so whenever that fear would come, you know, first I would ask that I put myself in that. And if I put myself in that position, then I have to accept what's going to come out of that and face it like a man, because I was raised that way. But now in the nation, as I became a student myself of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and he taught us about that time when he faced that bull, and and how he overcame that. I utilize what he teaches us about fear. And I like what student Mr. Nuri said, fear, false evidence appearing real, and just stuff like that to mentally overcome those obstacles. And as an FOI, you know, we it's been like that day, man. I would be lying. Anybody would be lying when Bear came to attack the mosque out here. If we didn't have to, like, I literally kissed my children, like, yo, whatever Allah has to come after this is what's gonna come because this is what I signed up for. Was I like, yeah, like we don't carry no guns and pistols, but we just carry faith and to know that, yo, this is what I signed up for. So however this ends out, this is what Allah said. And 10-10-15 was another one of those moments where it was, we didn't know what was gonna happen. So when I left my family, it's not that I was scared to go, because I don't know if I'm not scared of anything, but those were the moments that you realize, like, yo, this is really, every day is how Allah please, but these situations, it's gonna get intense, and it's really only by Allah's grace or his will, however it's gonna happen is happening. So just leaning on the words, in short, leaning on the words of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and him giving us examples of him going through that, and him doing things that, him facing trials that we can't even imagine. And it's like, man, that mentality. I always been a brotherhood, because I got a million brothers. Not a million, I got a lot of brothers. But, you know, me and my brother doing it, we can get through it. And if I know my brother went through it, I can get through it. So having a brother with you going through some things like that, and knowing, like, man, the minister went through way worse, so I know I could get through this, is what helps me get I know I quote the minister a lot, saying that that's why, but that's just how I get through it, bro. I'm being honest. Like, some people say, like, it's all y'all can do is fine. I don't care. Yeah, so what? Like, that's what I use. You look up to lesser people and quote them and emulate them. So I don't care, man. What got me to who I am, man. Is Farrakhan's teaching. And it's not like I'm just like, and Farrakhan, you asking questions, and that's literally what I apply in those scenarios to overcome those obstacles that I face.
Praise be to Allah. Excellent. And we just have a few more questions for you. And thank you all for your responses. I'm coming to yours, Sister Tanya, as well as Brother Zeke. We have a quick 60-second commercial for all of the sponsors of the People's Podcast this edition. I want to thank everyone. We're coming right back to our brother Ameer, but I want to thank everyone for all of the sponsorships of the month. I mean, we've been doing just great this month with sponsorships, and I want to thank everyone. If you would like to be a sponsor or a donor, please hold on 1 second. Here we come. There we go. Okay, boom. If you would like to be a sponsor or a donor of the People's Podcast, please cash at the People's Podcast. Your continued support is definitely appreciated. My brother Rashad, Street Premiere Media Production. He has a 4K camera and a drone. He does television and film editing. If you need anything, reach out to him. My sister Miriam, ABC I Love Me children's book and coloring book, both of which are available on Amazon. Please go out and get those. My sister Naima, Stay on Point Dance Academy, LLC. She teaches ballet virtually to young girls all across the country and right here in the studio in Atlanta. We love our tiny dancers. Our brothers out of the West Coast, MCS Car Bros. Any make, any model, any year, 30 to 50% off. They'll ship vehicles to you all anywhere in the country. Thank you very much. Also, Rod Communications, Sister Rashida Rafat. If you're working on a book and trying to write a book, she does copy editing, project management, content development, media relations, and consulting. Rod Communications, please reach out to her if you're working on a book. She does an amazing job. Coming right back to our brother Ameer. Elevated Places in Houston, Texas, an amazing school where I am what God says I am. They're making young kings and queens right out of Houston, Texas. Sister Melba Muhammad does an incredible job. Thank you very much for Houston, Texas. Sister Sherry Muhammad, Asiatic Minds Online. If you want to send your children virtually to schools, they have a special open house this Friday. AsiaticMinds.com. If you want to send your school open house this Friday, thank you. Reach out, AsiaticMinds.com. Brother Kenneth, Bowtie Maker Extraordinaire. He'll ship bow ties to you anywhere across the country. Thank you very much, Brother Kenneth, for your amazing bow ties. Our brothers, the WFM Law Firm, the Law Office of Warren Fitzgerald Muhammad, out of near where Brother Ameer is. He's out of Houston, Texas. Brother Ameer is in Dallas, Texas. Helping our clients get justice for injuries due to negligent intubation and anesthesia. The law offices of Warren Fitzgerald Muhammad, right out of Houston, Texas. Please reach out to him. Thank you very much, sir. Dr. Henry M. Carter, King Henry's Turkey Legs, right here in Atlanta, Georgia. Brother Rashad Muhammad, COVID-19 Disinfectant Cleaning Services out of Chicago. My father's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ, AbdulSharif.com. And last but not least, my two books, Cleopatra, which is a children's book, and No Father, No Excuse, both of which are available on Amazon. Thank you all very much for your sponsorships and donations. All right, right back to Brother Ameer. Brother Ameer, I want to read these two comments for you. Sister Tanya, who watched you and I both grow up, she said from an aha moment revealed as an Allah moment like that. All praises due. Definitely do. Again, my brother, great product. Thank you very much. Our brother Zeke said he's currently back on tour. Okay, brother Zeke, I'm gonna reach out to you after this because I want to take my nieces and nephew to the circus when you all come to Atlanta. I want to take them to the Universal Soul Circus. And thank you very much, sister. Love it. Okay, my next question for you, brother Mary, is we got to go back to that bear incident, right? So you get the call that they're planning to attack the mosque in Dallas, Texas. What goes through your mind, and then what happened?
Oh man. What happened was we got the student captain got the call that they were gonna come one day, and by Allah's grace, they didn't come that day. And so the next day they had scheduled. It's crazy. They scheduled a day that they were gonna come to do the protest. So the student captain at the time was student captain Hamza. So he did all of the protocol. And man, again, I gotta say it again, it was by Allah's grace that Assistant Supreme Captain just happened to be in the city to give us the proper guidance on how to set up everything and do what we do. So me personally, like Ameer personally, not student lieutenant Ameer at the time, Ameer personally is like, yo, this is finna get real, man. Like, I don't know what we're about to do. I don't know how it's gonna go. Like that was just a real moment where I gave it to Allah, man, how it's gonna go. And I just followed instructions, man. We did what the student captain told us to do based on the Assistant Supreme Captain. And man, the community just showed up, man. Brothers start coming, brothers and sisters, and they had big guns and all of that. So then we start giving them instructions how to set up. We set them up across the street from the mosque because we didn't want to allow the angle to be turned that we had guns outside of the mosque as if we started carrying guns, because we don't carry guns in the Nation of Islam. But the solidarity of the community that day showed, one, what the minister says, that he has an army that you see and that you don't see, and how much people really love the Nation of Islam and respect what we're doing, regardless if they may not register or they may not join, but they definitely support. That was an aha moment as well for me to see that, and an influential moment for me to keep doing work in the community, to keep spreading the love and keep spreading the consciousness of the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad to the people that didn't know. So that was really, I don't know if I gave a good action, like, man, it was brothers on the roof, and they did have snipers on, man. They had snipers. They brought the tactic. To this day, we haven't heard anything from that group or anything like that. So we definitely, yeah. So it was left there, and man, Allah is so magnificent, because I can't explain how he did it, what he did, but he definitely took control of that day. It wasn't like the Assistant Supreme Captain came for that. He had to be in the city for something totally different, and he took time from that to deal with this, because again, man, you make time for what you love. And when you love, I was speaking with him a couple of days ago, and he said, I never seen my life outside of the nation or serving the nation alongside of whatever it is I do, martial arts and the nation. No, it's always one and the same. So he teaches us to align your life up with what it is that you believe, and we believe. I'm not gonna get on that because So yes, that's what it was like, man. Just another testimony of how Allah has our back when we're right and we're doing the right thing. So that was, I was really appreciative to come home to my family and my children, and I don't take that for granted. You know, that we see them every day, and I'm gonna leave and come home. I don't take for granted that I'm a FOI and it's a force field that people are just not gonna mess with me. And I think a lot of us as FOI do take that for granted because of the work the FOI did in the 90s and how much they were trained and how much they did train. We all of a sudden are those superb fighters. And we have, because we still have the respect because of the reputation, we don't apply ourselves how we should. You know, in Atlanta, for example, it's a lot of brothers that train in Atlanta though, but there's many trainers in Atlanta. Grandmaster Steve is down there, Brother Richard is down there. Like, it's many people that train all over, whether it's boxing. And then, you know, it'll be a situation where we see the brothers, you know, throw a jab and they be like, bam, you know, throw a jab and it's, you know, I'm like, yo, if I got scrap with dude, it's gonna be, I'm gonna have to say, watch out. And then the sisters be training. So I told a brother one time, because his wife be training, I said, yo, you'll hate to get into it. And your wife be like, get behind me, honey, I got it. Like, yo, how you gonna come talk to me? I'll be like, yo, what happened? Yo, my wife started dealing, yo. She was like, get back, brother such and such, and start beating them brothers up. I might punch you, like, yo. So, you know, that's what it was like. And another thing, it showed the necessity, because look, we don't carry guns. That don't mean we don't know how to use them. So if you don't, you seen that thing on Instagram when it showed the dude show the technique, take the gun, he's like, yes, and then he do it and get hit with it.
Yeah.
We don't want to be like that, man. So we gotta learn how. So that was another moment that made me make sure I took advantage of the training and got with Grandmaster then and said, yo, I'm all in. So yes, sir. I hope that answered that.
No, it absolutely did. Beautiful. Praise be to Allah. And our sister and brother Minister Shaheed out of Dallas says, a moment we will always remember, Allah Akbar.
Yeah, he was
And sister,
there. He was there.
praise be to Allah. Sister Minister Aisha from Phoenix says, good testimony makes the elders proud of our present and future. Praise be to Allah, ma'am. And thank you for your sacrifice as well. My next question for you is, uh, you spoke of your wife and your family. So my father has a magazine, Rise magazine, and you all were like the couple, the premier couple in that magazine because of how you all present yourself in person, but online whenever your wife and you all show your family, all of the children and everything together. What has been the key to you as a husband?
I'm about to say it again. I don't know if you're tired of hearing it on the podcast, but Minister Farrakhan again. Yo, the lecture, the problems in relationships, the key to successful relationships. It was another one. I can't think of the name. The duty or roles in relationships. Studying Dr. Ava's book, the key to, I forgot the name, but Dr. Ava's book was really, really key. And just knowing, man, the family can, one, how important the woman is in society, right? And knowing to build a nation, it got to start with a family. We have to stop putting our desires for this world's accomplishments before your family. Um, the generation that before us, our fathers were laying the cement. In fact, they were even laying out the terrain, right? And this is a metaphor where you had to see where you're going to build the house first, right? So they had to see where you're even going to build the house first, right? So when you're doing that, it's a different kind of busy than where you already know where your property is. You come in to lay the slab and this. So things that I grew up like, man, I wish, you know, like one of my best basketball games, my dad had to leave to handle some business, and he's coming and going, and he didn't see my best game, but it was for the nation, you know, and it was for our people. But now that where we're at, it's togetherness, you know, it's me having to not be a man of what this world tell me, because my goal is not to be a good man. My goal is to be a God, right? So now as a God, I can't get frustrated with things that men get frustrated with, regular relationship problems. I can't allow that to cause me to want to separate from my wife. Like, how can I look my son in the face one day and tell him his mother wasn't good enough for me to humble myself and change these ways that weren't pleasing to her, that made her unhappy? Now my son, he'd come to me, I say, yeah, you know, your mom just wasn't that pretty. She was cool, but she, nigga, what? Who is you talking? But then I want to tell him to how to date his women or how to go about his life and how to be a good man. You ain't a good man. How you gonna tell me that? Right? So those things haunting in my mind that I don't want to have. Then I have daughters. Like, how am I gonna tell them how to pick a man if I can't be that man? If they don't see how I treat their mother, if their mother wasn't good enough for me to apply, they I want them to be MGT, right? And I want them to be in the nation, right? So now they're gonna look for an FOI, and then I'm an FOI, but I couldn't keep my wife. I couldn't keep my family together. So those things in my brain, having to face them one day and answer those questions, made me say, well, I better pick up this book. I better listen to this lecture when the minister says it's still your fault, man. You're responsible, man. I gotta understand when the most humble Elijah Muhammad says no such thing as a bad woman, but a bad man made. So I gotta say, well, dang, everything I'm complaining about, did I make her be that way? So those are again those conversations that I really, because I've been married 11 years, praise be to Allah, but it ain't been an easy 11 years, though. It ain't been the great, like, you know, it's been sacrifice, bro. You know, sometimes I'm not gonna speak how close, but people mocked, you know, the decisions that we made. Both of us went to school, right? We both got master's degrees, so my wife can get a good American job and make a lot of money, and we could be driving a bunch of cars and living in this. But we chose to make the sacrifice to allow her to stay home and teach the babies so that we don't put them in the different schools, because where we are, we don't just, it's not a school that we will put them in. If we were somewhere with a good school, maybe we put them in, but that's the decision that we made and the sacrifice we made, right? But it seems not pleasing to the eye, but we just following the messenger says stop putting them in the schools. And I understand because I had to go to the schools, though. It's not like my parents had a choice. I had to go to the schools. And I understand the war. My 11th grade year, I went to Catholic school. So every day I'm hearing this and going to mass and Jesus this, Jesus. And it's like 5 Muslims that go to the school. So we fighting them every day about religion, stupidly. But as 11-year-old, you're not indoctrinated with enough to fight that off. So it's putting doubt in my head, like, man, is that, how is that this? So now, then I'm not gonna bring it home and say, Dad, how is that? Because I don't want to look stupid. Inside, he would have welcomed that and it would have loved that for me to ask, but I was too ashamed. So because I didn't ask, I had to fight. I don't want my children to have to fight that fight. So I make that sacrifice for them to do that, because I learned not from our elders. I respect their sacrifice of what they had to do for us. So now it's our turn to sacrifice. And our sacrifice is going to look different than our parents' sacrifice. And only if we don't judge them for their sacrifice. Because see, we look at TV and want our parents to be like Uncle Phil and stuff. But that ain't real, man. And some of us got some prolific fathers. Like, yo, we look up to these athletes and entertainers, and we don't know they horrible fathers and parents. And and they look up, look, Josh, a lot of them entertainers look up to our fathers. What the heck we look like running behind them for their autograph, and they running behind our fathers looking for their autograph? That's crazy, right? So, yo, we in the time where we at, where the new gangster or the new cool is who could be a good father, who could be a good husband, who could be somebody that want to say, when Farrakhan say, yo, I need 1,000 of me's now. Who gonna say, well, let me try at least. Like, let me not keep falling victim to what us black men keep falling victim to in society over and over and over. And it's the same play that the enemy of humanity has, and we keep falling for it. So I just don't want to fall for that no more. I'm tired of seeing my people in this condition. I'm tired of seeing my brothers fall like this, man. So that's what made my family die. That's what made me, you know. People say all the time, like, you still gotta have a life and do all this. Man, this is my life now. My children is my life. I like my children. It's not my fault you don't like your children and you want to get real. I like my I spent, well, I was 27, I think, when I first had Ameer. All of that 27 years, I was a fool. So, like, let me spend more time not living my life, you know, because my life was ending in death, you know. So praise be to Allah. So I hope I answered that question. I be rambling sometimes, so just stop me.
No. That's great, and you get a lot of love on Facebook, and I can't wait to put this on YouTube. So please continue to like, share, subscribe. Okay, great. So that great response. My next, well, I only have 3 more questions for you, sir. My next question for you is, being from the West Coast, but now being in the South, when it comes to music, if you could choose your favorite album of all time, you know, like what would you choose?
My favorite album of all time. Man, I don't know, bro. I would have to say, it is crazy. I would have to say maybe One Reasonable Doubt, but this is gonna be you gonna respect it, but a lot of brothers is probably gonna be like, what? But it had to be Lauryn Hill's Miseducation.
Miseducation. Okay, yes sir. Yes,
till
sir.
this day, you could put that album in till this day and just play it through. And I can't think of, you know, I got a lot of this song and this album was cool, but I think till this day, and then she ain't make no more. So it's like yo, and it still go to this day. So yeah, I think that.
Okay, great response. Great response. Okay, my next question for you is: if you can meet God face to face and speak with him, you can only ask him one question. What would you ask him?
Yo, I'm gonna ask him, why did he abbreviate CA in the Supreme Wisdom when he just said Caucasian under it? I don't know if somebody already defined it, but it just, me and my wife was discussing the Supreme Wisdom, and that was just interesting why certain things are worded that way. So just to get more insight on that Supreme Wisdom, I guess, because truthfully, man, and to make it realer, if I could ask the minister a question, because he answered almost anything that we could fathom to ask that's not superficial or vain, you know, something that you really gonna ask God, like, God, am I gonna be rich one day? Or how can I be real? Like, what you gonna ask him that he ain't already told us? So I think I would just ask more insight to the teaching. Like the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, he could write volumes of those questions. So I would just like to talk about the volumes of those answers to those questions, really, because I really never thought to ask questions. I just never really thought about something like that, other than stuff like that through study. Like, man, I wonder what this means. And then you might ask a minister, and he like, man, I don't know. That's a pretty good question. And so something like that about the teachings about the world or something.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. If God could only ask you one question, what question do you think that he would ask you?
I don't even want him to ask me. Oh man, do you want another chance? Yes. That, that I don't see no. That's what. Do you want me to forgive you again? Yes, sir. Please. That's what I would ask. That's the. Because man, if he's coming to ask me something, geez, I'm in trouble, man. And that's the question. I hope it ain't why I did something. It just asked, hey, you want me to forgive you for that? Yes, sir. And I strive hard not to do it again.
Praise be to Allah. Well, man, this has been an honor, Brother Ameer, that you take time out of your busy schedule to come on to the People's Podcast. I can't wait to put this on YouTube, and thank everyone who was watching. There are a lot of people who grew up in religion in general who can relate to us, but then specifically in the nation, but then specifically with the type of dads. It's only a few, you know what I'm saying? So any children, you know, who grew up with laboring parents, my goodness, you know, we have a special bond, man, all across the nation, man.
Hey, thank you for having me. Two, that hat is fly. This the Mighty Ducks. Like
Yeah,
I played hockey when I was like 11, and the Mighty Ducks was my favorite movie. Even to this day, I watch that show on Disney Plus. So this whole time I'm talking to you, I didn't peep that was the logo. I'm like, yo, and I told you, I said, yo, I'm gonna have to pull out a hat because you be trying to come out with the hat. So I had this one of my favorite hats. But you won because Mighty Ducks is my favorite.
No, you won because you got the Reds hat on, and I was born in Cincinnati. A lot of people don't know that I was born in Cincinnati. So yeah. Thank you for holding it down for the Reds.
But see, that's just the infinity for the love that we got. It's each other. Like, man, we just did something in honor or representation to something that's dear to us both, man. But anything good I said, man, all came from Allah. Anything that was far out, that's from your brother. So, you know.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. And I got to get a picture, man, or a video of you playing hockey. That's cool, man. I don't know too many Muslims who play hockey. That's safe, man.
Yeah. I'll send you a picture, bro.
Praise be to
Yo,
Allah.
another thing, don't let me forget. I gotta link my wife with your sister because I gotta get my daughters in that ballet school.
Oh
That
man, that
online.
did.
That's mandatory because they need that, man. So I
Praise
didn't
be
want to
to
forget.
Allah. Yes, sir. That deal. This is Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off for the People's Podcast. Thank you again, Brother Ameer. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam.
And thank everyone for watching.